Hi FlashTube, it's Diane. Just make an adjustment here. No, there we go. I thought I'd do an update video. Today is December 13th, 2020. And I did a video talking about the School of Magical Stitches 2021. It's the first year I'm going to do this group, and I'm just putting stuff together. I have one thing I'm going to add. Excuse my reach. This was the pattern I couldn't find from that video, the Nativity Berry by Erica Michaels. This is the silk berry, meaning it has the silk gauze in it, and it calls for Gentle Arts Weeks. It does have DMC alternatives. I think I'm probably going to use a mixture. I love that blue. Now, back here. Here's the linen berry and here's the silk berry. So this is the one I'm doing, or will be doing. I haven't started it yet, and I need to put the threads together. And then I was cleaning my craft area closet thing, and I added this one to my list. Celebrate Harvest by Brenda Gervais. This is one that was included in the Coming to America pattern packet. This was a bonus. Excuse me. This one also calls for DMC Weeks, Classic Colorworks, Gentle Arts mixture. So this one I'm adding, and it counts as a small because I don't have a lot of smalls because I don't. I like large projects. Which reminds me, I forgot to grab something for this. No, I have one right here. So I'll try and grab a piece of cards or a foam core to show my finish. And get my clips. I thought it was organized, but yeah, we're all healthy. Yay. And just putting everything together for Christmas. I have probably half my Christmas. I have over half my Christmas gifts purchased, wrapped, ready to go. And we've been doing some Christmas goodies like cinnamon popcorn. Oh, cinnamon popcorn. Let's just say this bowl is full, with 4 of these bowls that are full. I could eat one of these by myself. That's so good. It's so addictive. I like it better than caramel corn. But let's jump in with my finish. Arise My Soul, Rosewood Banner. I saw this at Galleria 2019, the model. It's just beautiful, and I tried to find this color fabric. I think it's guacamole, if I remember right. Yeah. 30 count guacamole by Weeks. Stitchville had guacamole. I wanted to do it on 36. The 30 count Weeks, I don't like the 30. I've stitched on 30 count Weeks, but I thought, oh, higher count Weeks, but I couldn't find, but they didn't have a big enough piece, something like that. So I stitched mine on 36 count Vintage River Willow by Lakeside Linens. I believe that's the right one. Let me tell you, make sure that's correct, because I don't want to tell you wrong. Yes, Lakeside Linen, Vintage River Willow, in all the called for, and it is finished. I think last time I might have had the box done and part of this done, but now it is completely finished. It does smell like fudge. This tree is supposed to be 1 column this way, I think. Of course, I didn't figure that out until I had most of the tree done, and I'm like, I am not taking that out. And then here, the border is perfect, but everything inside here, this lower half, should be 1 row down. I don't know where I got off, but so this line here looks different than the pattern. I just made it a zigzag similar to this border. Because I liked that color. I had taken it out, what I had stitched there, and it just needed it. It needed it put back in. So I just did a simple zigzag rather than, they had more of a scallop. but I think it looks great. It's 1 strand over 2 threads in the called for weeks, I believe. Let me double check on that. Yes, they're all weeks dye works fibers, and there's only 6 of them. Now the pattern tells you to purchase multiples of a couple of the colors. If you do this on 36 count or higher, 1 strand over 2 threads, you only need 1 skein of each color. You do not need multiple skeins, because I think I have multiple skeins of this green, which is moss. So I would say multiple skeins of the moss and multiple skeins of this dark color. That's the wording. I purchased them, but I didn't use the second skein. So if you're doing that, and it's cute, and it's really, I love the color. I love how this red plays against the purple and blue, against these greens. The specialty stitches, there's Smyrna crosses here and here, which you can do on Aida cloth very easily. And so it goes through all 6 colors all the way around. What I did is I started with this red one here in the corner, counted over to this red one here, counted over to the red one, counted over to the red one, counted over to I did the top row, and then I parked my thread over here, meaning I didn't cut it. I just left it over here so it was out of my way. Then I came back with it's a green, and did the same thing. But I made sure that on the back, so I carried my threads, and then on the back I made sure I went under this red stitch. So essentially, if you kind of look at the back here, you can see I've carried my threads, but I've made sure to hook or bury the threads under the previous stitches. And then as I went, I made sure to grab with this green, I made sure to go over that red so they get buried. I found that to be the easiest way to do it, instead of start, stop, start, stop, start, stop, start, stop. And I just did all the horizontal and I parked them. And then when I got to this corner, because they're not, you don't start with a red one in this corner. When I got to that corner, and counted them out and all that, then I just did the vertical ones in whatever order I needed to do. And then I came back with this horizontal, parked my threads, and then I went up. That way I made sure it helped me keep my count, is what I'm trying to say, if that makes any sense. But I didn't tackle this box until I had this top portion done, and I had most, if not all, of this border done to this point. For me, I'm not one that does the entire border, because my count, I always get off on my count. I always do. But if I do a chunk of the border and then something inside, and a chunk of the border and something inside, for me, that works best. And then, what is my favorite motif, favorite part of this? So that's one specialty stitch, and you can do Smyrna crosses, because it would be, so you take your Aida and it would be over 4 Aida stitches. So you make a big X and then you make a big cross, which makes the Smyrna cross. These are eyelets here. You could do those on Aida. You couldn't pull the center open as well as on linen, but it is doable, again, because they're over 4 stitches. You could get that effect, or you could just put Smyrna crosses there too. It would look great. And there's some back stitching, but I think those are the only, yeah, there's the only French knot is like this period here. There's no dot on the I, so that there's only 2 French knots. But aside from that, it's all full cross. So I changed my initials and the year. These over here are backstitch numbers, so that would be very doable on Aida. Any other? Yeah, this is a very fun pattern, and it only has 6 colors in it again. So if you've never used overdyes, this might be a nice one to try. If you want a sampler with overdyes, this might be a nice one because it's a good size. It's not too big. I started this one at the Race to a Finish or sorry, March to a finish, which my guild does in March. And now it's finished. I picked it up, it was calling to me, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to finish this one. But I love how these golds and reds, and that darker red, that's the variegation in the floss. That's what gives that look there. And you've got the blue outline and the purple flower with the red stamen. And here is the green. It's a Celtic knot. And in Karen's patterns, she gives you ideas for taking little motifs out and doing other things with them. And one thing is she took this Celtic knot and made a Christmas ornament out of it as an idea. And I have this extra green here. I didn't cut this down. I mean, I did have a full fat quarter for some odd reason. So I have that half to use, but I also have down here, and this would make a little Christmas ornament. I mean, if it's just that size, it would work. She also had an idea of taking, you know, just this section here or the tree. Yeah, she gives you other ideas in her patterns, and her patterns are so nice to read. I love her use of color. And like this whole border is this moss green, but you see that variegation there? It gives it such movement and depth. Karen is a genius, and she is I've met her, she's such a sweet person. So I couldn't recommend her patterns more, because they're great. They're fabulous. So that's my finish. I do want to frame that one. That one I want to frame. I haven't done any measuring to figure out what size frame that would fit in. You'd think it would be a standard frame, maybe a 12 by 16 or no, not a 12 by 16. What am I thinking? 9 by 12 or something? I don't know. I have to do some measuring. I'm going to show my haul. It's not much before I show progress on the other piece I've been stitching. For Black Friday, Stitches Through the Years had a sale, and I've had this in my Etsy. I don't have a color printer. I've had this in my Etsy wish list favorited for a while. So Stitches Through the Years, I'll try and link them below. But this is like a cherry blossom, and I just think this is beautiful. By Lana Lenskava, a Russian designer, and it's beautiful if you look at the color picture. And the verse says, "Your mind is a garden, your thoughts are the seeds. You can grow flowers or you can grow weeds." So that's what her thing, and it has a house. It's a beautiful border. Beautiful border. And if I remember correctly, hold on, let me look here real quick. She has nice size to read chart, and the symbols are, I think the symbols are easy to read. A number of them are a mixture of numbers and letters, and I have not stitched one of her patterns. This pattern also comes in color. I prefer the black and white, but if you prefer the color, you could get it. It's all same price. She calls for Anchor, Weeks Dye Works, Gentle Arts, Classic Color Works, but she gives you DMC alternatives also. So yeah, she has some back stitches, but looks like the majority is full cross. What did she stitch hers on? She used one strand of floss over 2 threads. And she used Newcastle linen. I don't think she said what color. Just hand-dyed Newcastle linen. It looks like she hand-dyed it herself, but she gives you some alternatives. But yeah, it's the color picture. I'll try and link at least her shop below, because I also bought this one, the Right Way sampler. Again, same designer, same shop. And this one says, "If I am right, thy grace impart, still in the right to stay. If I am wrong, oh teach my heart to find that better way." And it's just beautiful. And this one is also a mixture of fibers, Weeks, Gentle Arts, Classic Color Works, or DMC alternatives. And again, the border, the borders on these two are what sold me, and I love the birds, the baskets with the flowers. Yes, so Stitches Through the Years, a Russian designer. I'll link her shop on Etsy. And then Shakespeare's Peddler also had a Cyber Monday sale, I think it was. And this one, Mercy Goodhart sampler. This has been, I saw the model at Galleria 2019. This one has been on my wish list for a while, or since then. I purchased another one of her samplers. Is this one or another pattern? And I don't remember which one it was. Sweet something by Shakespeare's Peddler, or this one. And so this one's been on my wish list, and she had a sale, and it was on her PDF patterns. Again, I don't have a color printer, but here it has faith, justice, peace, honor. All of you be subject to one another, and be clothed with humility. For God resisteth the proud, and give grace to the humble. And this is not a reproduction. This is one that she designed herself. She's done enough samplers to bring in elements. And again, the border and the houses and the bird and the flowers. Yeah. So I haven't begun kitting these up yet. But that's my Black Friday sales. And then my Threads of the Month from Fiberlicious. Let me pull them out. These are beautiful. They're definitely, Christmas, holiday themed. Yeah, Merry Christmas from Fiberlicious. And this one is Cardinal Red. And this is beautiful. This reminds me of Schoolhouse Red or Lancaster Red. It has those different tones, but it's definitely unique. Forever is an FIR. Isn't that beautiful? Christmas red and green. I could see myself using this. Actually, in the project I'm going to show in a minute, this is very similar to one of the threads. This one, Christmas Wishes. I've had this one before, I think, and I've stitched an ornament with it, and it turned out so cute. Jolly. So it's kind of the same idea, but deeper tones, muted tones. And this one's called Superstar. So some of her threads are highly variegated, which you want in some patterns, and some are more subtle. So I love her customer service. And I used to get her fabric of the month. I got to the point I felt like I was not using what I had, and I want to use what I have. You know what I mean? So I want to promote those. What have I been working on? This project bag I made myself. And this is the piece I've been working on the most. My Big Toe Designs. Disturb Us, Lord. When I last showed it, well, even in my School of Magical Stitches video, I had all these words done, and I was working on this band here. It calls for 40 count lentil, by Lakeside. I have vintage lentil. I'm not quite sure the distinction with the vintage. I know there's a distinction, but I don't quite know all the little details. I was going to look that up on their website before I did this video, and I forgot. I am using all the called for colors, which are Gentle Arts, and they're beautiful colors. My kids are going after each other. But here is where I'm at now. So here's all those original words, and I've just added a little bit of the border on top. I finished this entire band. This band is beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful, and I don't make drums, but this would make a beautiful drum. It really would. And I've got all the words done down here. There's a little motif over here, and then this band here, which is flowers and vines, and then there's kind of a lacy bottom, and then I'll be at the bottom of the sampler. And then I'll just work my way up. This one just has my interest, and I'm going with it. So this might not even make it to School of Magical Stitches. I might finish it before the end of the year. Who knows? These words stitch up so fast. There is a band here. Right here. It's not as wide as this one. And it seems, I think there's less colors in that band. This band here has this creamy color. It's a diamond. It has this dark viney color, the red flowers, the green here, it has this color. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 colors. I think this only has 5 colors in it and then a different color on top and bottom. But this smaller band has less colors, and I think it'll stitch up fast because the words definitely go quickly. So then I'll have just 5 lines of words here, and then 2 little bands. And I think this top band matches this bottom band. So yes, the colors are so much more vibrant than on that picture. They're just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. If you are interested in stitching this one, I'm using 1 strand over 2 threads. I think I might actually run out of the parchment color. I'm not sure. I'm done with it in the bottom right now, but I'm wondering if I should get a second skein. Otherwise, the skein numbers so far have worked great, because there's a couple that they want you to buy multiples of, and they give you great little charts. This is something, if you pick this up in a store, you would see this on the back, so I'm not breaking copyright. So here they tell you number of skeins if you use 1 strand on 36 count. If you use 2 strands on 28 or 32 count, this is how many skeins you should purchase. They give you that information based on 5-yard skeins, because some Gentle Arts colors are available in 10-yard skeins. They say only 1 thing of parchment. Personally, I think that should be 2. But I'm not there yet. I haven't run out, so we'll see. This is a quote by our prayer of Sir Francis Drake. Disturb us, Lord, when we are too pleased with ourselves, when our dreams have come true, because we dreamed too little, when we arrived safely, because we sailed too close to the shore. Disturb us, Lord, when with the abundance of things we possess, we have lost our thirst for the waters of life. Having fallen in love with life, we have ceased to dream of eternity, and in our efforts to build a new earth, we have allowed our vision of the new heaven to dim. Disturb us, Lord, to dare more boldly, to venture on wilder seas, where storms will show your mastery. Where losing sight of land, we shall find the stars. We ask you to push back the horizons of our hopes, and to push back the future in strength, courage, hope, and love. This we ask in the name of our captain, who is Jesus Christ. That's what the prayer says. And yeah, I haven't looked up the exact source, but their designs are nice to read, clear. This has 9 pages, so I have pages 4, 5, 6 completed, and I almost have 7, 8, 9. When I get these 2 bands down here done, then I'm definitely over halfway done on this. But that's the piece I've been stitching on. I haven't wanted to stitch on anything else, so I'm going with it. But that really is all I've done stitching wise. Going in and out and the masks and everything, my nose just keeps running. I wanted to remind you about the bags. The gnome bag, there's one of these. He's a smaller guy. And there are 2 rose bags. I made these for my Ann Morrison. They're pretty much identical. There's subtle variations in the fabric, but other than that, these are ones I made, and I'm offering these as a giveaway. I will be drawing for that giveaway on December 28th, 2020. You need to comment on the video I want to say it's number 122 I think I should have looked that up. It's the one that says quilting and stitching. It's at the end of that one. You need to use those terms, and you don't use giveaway, etc. And you will be eligible. If you comment for the bags on this video, it won't count because I'll look at that video. But I've been working on my craft closet, and I thought I would show that. But before I do that, the elephant in the room. This is my son's quilt. That was at the Long Armor. I got it back. Oh, they did a fabulous job. This is called Tumbling Triangles by Studio 180 Designs. Deb Tucker would be the name to look up. And theirs is done in like a pinkish orangish, but I did mine. This is blue and white. The white is like sketches of sea creatures. You have, let's see, what do we have here? There's fish there, there's a conch shell, lobster, this looks like a tuna, this looks like an urchin, the turtle, crab, I don't think you can see that, but the overall quilting design, they call it small waves, so I'll kind of trace it with my finger here. So you start here and you go around, it's like a wave. And it just pulls this all together. And this is up there in that corner up there. That's called a mitered corner. I've never done one of those in my quilting, so this is the first time I've done that. And let's just say the first three worked great. The last one I had to work a little more on. So two sides have that dark blue as the border, and then the other two have the white. So it gives that effect. And this is not as hard as it looks. I know it looks hard. I thought it looked hard. There is a Deb Tucker tool. It's worth investing in. But the actual block, let me see if I can find an actual block. Here is an actual block. Okay, so you make these little units here, and then you make some different blocks. Some of the blocks have all 4. Some of them only have 3. Some of them only have 2. And some of them, like that one up there, only has 1 of the color in the square. Otherwise, you're essentially making a 4 patch after you make this unit, and then it's on point. It's a clear, very, very clear diagrams, illustrations, explanations. It comes together fabulously. The pattern has multiple sizes. This is the queen, this is the largest one, and I think the smallest would be a wall hanging like 24.5 by 24.5 inches or something along that line. I do need to put the binding on. I haven't done that. The binding is going to be this blue and white fabric. I'm trying to point to the right place. There it is. The backing is this, I don't think it's grunge, but it's definitely a mottled gray, because here in the shell there's some gray in there, and I just think it pulls it all together. Not to mention it's on a bed, it won't show as much wear and tear. So I just have to put the binding on, and then child number 6 is done. Yay! So I am, while this is uploading, I am going to be tackling child number 7's. And for this quilt, I am doing a dummy, our test block. And there's 12 different blocks, although we will need to duplicate 4 of the blocks to make it a queen size. So that one I'm starting, I have all the papers, foundation, it's foundation paper piece, so I have those all printed off. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. But let's show you my closet. Okay, so this is my crafting closet, clothes closet. It's a work in progress, but we will start over here. This is kind of my quilting area. These are these little comic book paper cardboards. These are acid free, and so I make these mini bolts of fabric that's half yard or larger, so I can see them and pull them out when I need to. There's a few there I have to redo. These are fat quarters that I am not sure what to do. This is going to be for child number 8's quilt. Got these from the quilt shop when I picked up my son's quilt for free. Found this when I was cleaning. Not sure what to do with that, but charm squares, they're things you can do. These are for FFOing. These are also pieces I'm not sure what to do at the moment, but they look so pretty stacked there and wrapped, so I'm leaving them alone. I store my scraps in a certain way, so these need to be sorted. They're cut, but they need to be sorted. These are some fabric I need to figure out how I want to put them together in a quilt. Is same with that one. We have a towel here. When I press my stitching, I put a towel down like Vanna suggested, so that towel is designated for that. And there's some things I took off the wall when I painted upstairs I haven't put back, and this is a cross-stitch piece that will go up after Christmas. Down here, this is how I store my scraps. These are acid-free boxes, scrapbooking boxes. I cut my scraps down. This is stuff that's less than half a yard. If they're fat quarters, they go in that box. And there's always extra binding strips, so I just put them in there because there are uses for that kind of thing. If I can cut with salvage to salvage, 2.5-inch strips or 1.5-inch strips, I cut them there. Otherwise, I do 5-inch squares, 3.5-inch squares, and 2-inch squares because those are sizes that are used all the time in quilting. And once I have them cut, I sort them by color. So my green, purple, black, or dark, blue, red scraps, brown and white, and I have blue 1 and blue 2 because I have so many blues. Excuse me. If you have a multicolor piece of fabric, it's what does the fabric read? Does it read brown? Does it read red? That's how I sort my fabric scraps. And sometimes you just need a little 5 by 5-inch piece. This is some miscellaneous quilt projects that I need to fully finish. Some fully finished fabric. That's a quilt I need to hang on my wall, pressing mat, and some quilt books. This is the book that I have my system from, called Cut the Scraps by Joan Ford. There are projects in here too, but she really walks you through how she organized her stash, and it made such a difference for me. She also has the second book, Scraps Plus One, where you take your scraps and you just add one solid color to pull them all together. So if you're wondering how you want more detail on this, that would be the source. And then down here, I used to store my stitching stuff on bobbins, so hence all my boxes, which I have to figure out what to do with them now, except I still have this pattern, so that's staying. But the other boxes, I'm not sure at this point. Those are a bunch of whips that I need to organize better, and foam core in a variety of shapes. This is my white dragon, and the pillowcase was embroidered by my grandma. So here, this box is my family research stuff, which I'm going to be getting out and working on over this holiday season when I don't have to homeschool. These are frames that my dad got at that like $2 a piece or less. I just have to put, some of them are designated for projects, but most of them are not. So I have them stacked here. That's like wrapping, I need to go through that box and redo it because it needs it. Here are my other full coverage pieces, my other Hades. These are some quilts I have to quilt. And excuse me, I gotta move forward just a shade so you can see a little better. These are special dresses that my daughters wore, and when I have a granddaughter someday, I'm gonna hand them down. So these are other quilt tops. Here, this is a quilt that my husband's grandma embroidered some flowers and some animals, and I'm trying to figure out how to put it together in a quilt because she stitched them on this, you know, that sheer fabric curtain stuff. That's what she stitched them on. So I'm really not sure how to preserve it. So I need to take it to the quilt shop, or any of you quilters can give me some tips if you've ever done that. These are just some seasonal decorations in an empty bin, rotating mat. That's a quilt I did a long time ago. Up here, that's my wedding dress. I don't expect my daughters to wear my wedding dress when they get married, but if they want to take part of the fabric, and if I could be something old at my daughter's weddings, woohoo! But if they want to take the fabric and remake it into their own wedding gown. But these are special quilts and afghans. My mom crocheted a lot. There's some quilts up there I made for my children. Scraps of batting. These are crocheted or knit shawls that have been given to me. All my stuffing. When I cleaned my closet, I couldn't believe how much polyfill I had. Oh my word. And then here in this box, there's cross-stitch patterns and magazines, and there's another box behind that. I used to have a subscription to Stony Creek magazine, and I've kept those. These are for my serger, glue gun. The box there has elastic in it and Velcro, I think. The labyrinth quilt, that's a quilt I need to put together, and that's all the fabric for it and the pattern. This is for my daughter, who I'm teaching to learn to sew and quilt. I've been putting little things in there for her, some fabrics for her to just have fun with. And we'll move over here. This right here, that's some fully finishing stuff that I haven't used yet. And these two boxes here have glues and pins and picture hanger, that kind of stuff. But I just get those boxes when they're on clearance at Joann's at the end of the season. And then that's what I've been storing all those little knickknacks in. Here is one of those snapware things. I have my beading stuff in there and some just my post-its and stuff. Here's my bead storage, my Mill Hill bead storage. 2 of these are completely filled. 1 is partially filled. This is the best system I've ever found in my 30 years of stitching. These were given to me and I just haven't used them yet. That is pearl cotton. These are Gentle Arts, but they will be moving at some point in time. Those are my Carrie's Creation cottons. Those will also be moving at some point in time. Not sure what's in that box. This one, it's not hair thingies. I know it's labeled that, but that's flannel scraps. Here is where I used to have all my special fibers, but I still have some in there. And as I develop my system, I will put, move stuff, my cross-stitch fabrics. These are my silk and petite treasure braids, so some of those will move into here. Some games that we like to play. This is my crayonic storage. If I haven't talked about these recently, these are from Cabela's, which is now owned by Bass Pro. These are fabulous. If you look up this number on their website, you might not get the clear boxes right away, but just scroll down and get the clear boxes. I love the clear boxes. I love that it has a little more headspace because, I threw some loose ones in there. But you can look down and see your labels. I'll pick those up in a minute. So you can put them in numerical order. It snaps shut, so if it tips like this, they go right back. Fabulous. I have one for number 4 treasure braid. Blending filament, as I have a collection over the years. And I have one for number 8 blending filament. And these spools that are on top, they're too wide to fit in this particular box. There's a number 12 and a number 16 braid, and then that gold is Japanese thread. But they fit in there. They're stored. I know exactly where they are should I need them in a project. Not to mention they stack nicely on the shelf. They're not going to slip slide everywhere. You can get them in different colors, or you can get them in a solid. I liked the clear. For my, let's see, what are they? The 100.3s, 100.3 for Ann Morrison. I was going to go to Cabela's and see if they had a bigger, because this wouldn't fit. But maybe they have a bigger, for a bigger round of ammunition. So yes, you can go into the stores, the sporting goods stores, and get that kind of stuff. These baskets have various sewing paraphernalia, buttons, snaps, hooks and eyes. These postcards I got at a retreat. And then down here, I love this for my starch. It's my main starch. This jar, I have mason jars, I might as well use them. This one has just a variety of zippers in it. Lace, buttons. I have just a variety of trims that I've put in other jars, and I just put a 5 by 5 inch scrap on top for the lid, so then they could still breathe. And this goes to one of my sewing machines. This box is cross stitch magazines, a whole variety of them. The Christmas ones, like this one I got for that butterfly in the corner. That's by Joan Elliott. It's a beautiful pattern. So that's what those are. These are fabric scraps. Well, there's a few other things, but it's mostly fabric scraps, which actually I need this. When you do foundation paper piecing, have a little bit of this to start. So I'll just put that in my hand. These are scraps I have to cut down into my system. So that's what's in both of these bins. This is also I found this at a thrift shop, and I thought, oh, that would make a cool FFO piece. I thought I had the right piece, but it was too tall, because I thought a band to go around it. It's not a fancy named box, but it's adorable. And then I have some other finishing things. This is a pant. So you put dress pants on this. You unhook this, swing it out. But it works for my ribbons and trims. Then I just have some various rulers back here and other quilting tools. This has a variety of sewing items. This has my presser foot, empty jars. I've just slowly been getting this area working again. Now this box are future giveaways, which I'm not ready to do today. Below is the cradle that my dad made when I had my oldest son. And so it holds my sheets, it holds extra quilts, it holds afghans. In this corner are some quilt patterns. Really quilting and sewing paraphernalia are in that corner. And then this is just a sheet of MDF. It's a 2x4 sheet, and we just laid it on there and screwed it in to have a little table area. This here is a doll armoire my dad made for one of my daughters. She doesn't have room for it in her room right now, but I said I'd put it in my closet. There's a number of dresses in there that I made for her dolls. And here's my Lowry stand, which I will pull out when I get my white dragon out, and my extended bars, which my husband gave me as a Christmas gift a couple years ago. Suitcase, bag for stitch fill. This is my 31 bag. Love these bags. And whips. So if I do a whip parade, I think I'll just do this bag one time, that other bin one time. Yeah. This box here are my Mirabilias, my Nora Corbett patterns. Most of them are in here that aren't being worked on. A few of the Nora Corbetts are in a different bin, but yeah. Then here I have some finishing ideas and finishing items, some other stitching storage. That's a sewing machine that doesn't work because I had to find the guy who actually knows what he's doing. My Q-snaps. I've tried Q-snaps. They're just not for me, but my daughters use them. So I'm keeping them, and later on I might need them for a certain project. You never know. Sewing machine that works. This is my little workhorse that actually belongs to my daughter now. This box, when I made doll dresses, I got all those fancy, brocades and lamés and all the fun stuff. That's what is in there. This box has my cross stitch patterns organized. Well, I tried to organize them. Like I have all my Rosewood Manors in one file because it's a hanging file system. But that's working for me. Below is another doll fabric thing because, you know, chances are I'll have granddaughters someday and they'll need doll patterns. This is how I've been storing my DMC. It's not working for me, so I'm going to go a different system. These are going to be donated. They're just things that Mini Dot's outgrown, and over here are adult things for the vets. This is an ironing board that I use, and my cutting mat because that pushes it flat against the wall. Here are my pegboards. So over here I have mostly quilting sewing stuff on my pegboards. And you can buy these pegboards. They're cut 2 foot by 4 foot at Home Depot, and they're already cut for you. And the white works fine for me. Otherwise, I just spray painted them. Here's where I'm putting a lot. I'm kind of working out how I want to do stitching. This piece right here is a quilting work in progress. There's 2 more components to that I need to finish before I can fully finish that piece, and I need to hang this upstairs. It's one stitching piece that didn't go back on my wall. This is what I'm thinking of for my DMC storage. I know I need to cut my threads shorter, but I just don't want to take time to do it until I actually need the threads. But that is going to be my new system. These are Classic Colorworks here. These are Fiberlicious here. Scissors. Super glue that I found I need for something and nobody can tell me what I need it for. And this is going to be a possible project for next year. This is binding for my son's quilt. I just put it there. So I've had this pegboard for probably 2 years now. This one I just added like a month and a half ago, if that. So I haven't tinkered with it because I was working on the other area. And this is my WhipGo board as I have joined WhipGo 2021. Tried to set very realistic goals, pulling from my School of Magical Stitches. And here, these are buttons that I could use in my stitching. And needles. So this is a stitching basket. And these are quilt patterns I'm sending to my mom. So this is how I hang my finished pieces until they are FFO'd. So just to keep them more wrinkle-free than not. Some of these will be done in the next few months and you'll see them as FFOs. So that is my craft closet. It's roughly 13 by 6.5 wide. My husband and I also have our regular clothes in here and another section that I'm not showing because who wants to see that? It's nice to have an area to store your items. I do not have the luxury of having a craft room right now, and that's fine. That'll come. One of these days, that'll come. But I have been talking about this and I thought I would share it. And it's come up about the color fastness of hand-dyed. This dragonfly used hand-dyed silks and hand-dyed fabrics, and it got wet. And it changed all the color of the silks. So I am not sure what to do with it right now. Kind of bummed. But, I mean, still a beautiful piece. I could probably just finish it and pretend like that's how it's supposed to be. Even though you can't really see that one wing anymore. But hand-dyed fibers and fabrics, just take extra care with them. And I will be right back. Yeah, it was a bummer when I got wet. It was just a freaky thing that happened and it ended up getting wet. But I want to remind you the giveaway. Do not say giveaway, but comment on the video that says quilting and stitching, and I'll try and link it below. Also, I want to promote a local business. This is a friend's business, and I like to drink tea. I don't like to drink coffee. Sorry, just never developed the taste for it. I like using it in cooking though, especially when it's paired with chocolate and a cake. Good, good, good. But her business is called Tomahawk Tea and Trade, and I'm going to link it below. She has a web page, a new web page. She has a Facebook group. I know her. Her tea is really good, and it's very, very fair priced. The Pacific Coast Mint is absolutely delicious after dinner. It's $2 an ounce. So when she delivered it, she hand delivered it to me because I'm so close to her. Yeah, the kids and I were joking that she's my dealer. She's giving me a stash in a paper sack. But small businesses are the backbone of any successful economy, and I encourage floss tubers to promote small businesses, whether it is a hand-dyed fabric, hand-dyed fiber, project bag, needle minder, pattern maker, designer, or I know many of you drink tea. Yeah, Vicky is fabulous, and her products are really good quality. She's not super fancy, but word of mouth is how small businesses grow, and I want to grow her small business if I can. So I'll link it below. She does ship domestically. I'm not sure about international, but ask her. I mean, the worst that she can say is sorry, no. Then you're not out anything. But her teas are really good quality. They're good fair price. And that Pacific Coast Mint tea, it's herbal, caffeine free. Some of her stuff does have caffeine. I bought her throat coat because every winter I get sore throats. I haven't tried it yet, knock on wood, because I don't want to have to. But yeah, if you're interested in another place to purchase tea, try her company. She'll ship it to you. And again, her prices are extremely fair. Not super fancy packaging, but people store their tea in different ways anyway. And what she gave me, I'm going to get some little mason jars and just store them in there. But yeah, I just want to promote small business. And I also want to promote in the stitching community. I want to promote Fiberlicious this video. I've worked with her I heard about her through D-Stitcher, and I've worked with her in her Fabric of the Month Club. I've purchased other items from her directly. Her Fiber of the Month Club now, her cottons. She does, I think she does a silk one too. I don't remember. But fabulous customer service. Her stuff is wonderful to stitch on, to use in your stitching. So I'm going to promote her too in the cross stitch world. And I encourage other floss tubers to do the same. Let's build small businesses. Let's promote small businesses. And if you order from Tomahawk Tea and Trade, or you order from Fiberlicious, just say that I heard about it on FlossTube on Mondot Stitches channel. I don't get anything, but both of my parents had small businesses, and it helped them know where people were hearing about their business, to know where to put their advertising resources, to be able to meet their customers more and meet their needs more and grow their business. So that's the only reason I say you know, Mondot Stitches on YouTube mentioned you, because that helps them know where people are hearing about them, so they can make their business decisions with that information. I mean, I saw my parents build their businesses, and they retired, and they worked hard, and yeah, I saw that from the sidelines, and helped them when I could. But again, I was a teenager. I didn't know really what to do. But my brother and I helped them when we could. And they were successful. Dad's business was, I think, I want to say 20, almost 25 years when he retired. Mom's business was over 20 years. So that's huge. in the small business community. So let's build small businesses. And if you hear about a small business and you go and purchase from them, and you hear about it from a floss tuber, you hear about it maybe in a group. Say I was in a cross stitch group on Facebook, and you give the first name of the person who suggested it or something. That way, again, the small business will know, hey, people are hearing about it over here. Maybe I need to check this out. You never know. But let's build up each other. And that's one way we can build up each other. But I will let you go. This has been long enough. So sorry. I've been trying to keep my videos shorter. I will do a video when I draw for the bags. Again, not this video. That video you have to comment on. I will link it below. If I forget, just gently remind me. And I hope you have a good Christmas, because I probably won't talk to you before then. I hope you have a good Christmas and holiday season. I hope you stay healthy. Do what you need to do for your family to be healthy. And I really appreciate this community, and it's been a blessing to be part of it for 6 years. Love to you all.